Hello everyone, I hope you are all having a fantastic week, and there's a few things I want to start off with. First off, I've been falling a bit behind between overtime, taking care of Jasper. Also, he had a hydro bath walk thing, which is basically just submerged in water and then walking on a treadmill underneath that. That will be going on for the next 4 weeks, I believe, and then he should be pretty much back up to relatively full strength. So that's exciting. But between Jasper and working overtime and working on my renovation house, I definitely haven't gotten as much done as quickly as I would like in Minecraft. So this week will be a larger video, and I think next week I'll have to do a smaller, just like one house build, which I need to start doing anyways to fill out all this area. And I think a good alternation every other week like that might end up being good. We will find out, and only time will tell. But I want to focus on our walls a little bit, and here's a little preview of our area. It's actually quite big, but I want to design a wall that's modular, that can go forward by one, backward by one, and on a diagonal, and even better if it's able to do like a 2 back, 3 back, 2 back pattern and other degrees of angles, just to make it look less flat. We also need to design some towers, but I don't think that is a today task. And then I also need to figure out how resin works, because a part of the wall in the accent, I want there to be the resin block. It's very bright. It might not work, but it also might. So let's hop over to a creative world and kind of design some walls, but also look into resin and how the farms work. Because all I know is they involve a creaking heart. If you hit a creaking, resin populates somewhere, probably near the heart. Let's go find out. And I want to start working on the wall design. Now, the problem I'm having is I kind of want there to be a back offset spot of the wall, right, with a cool little design, which works pretty good on a flat wall. It doesn't work quite as good when you step it back. Like, I think this is still a little awkward, but it's not too bad. But then if I try and turn this into a diagonal, I think it gets a lot worse. So I'm not quite sure about that yet. Also, the pattern here is 3-block pillar with a 3-block midsection, and it's just rinse repeat. So maybe my midsection, instead of being 3 blocks here, should be 5 to kind of extend that. Not sure. Over here we tried a 5-block design, rinse and repeat, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. So then you have 2 pillars on each side, but I'm not really sold by that either. So the first thing I want to do is hop over to a super flat world where I have flat ground to work on instead of having to dig out this area. And I want to try and get a repeatable design, whatever dimensions it has to be, that works in a straight line and also works in a, step back, and then also works in a diagonal, because those are kind of like the two things I want to do. Now, I did look at a chart today and it showed you the angle, like a 40-degree angle, I want to say is 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 blocks. That pattern right there gives you a 40-degree angle. So maybe we'll do some other ones, but if it works well on a straight diagonal and a step back, I'm assuming it'll work there. Really, the stair blocks and the decorative blocks get a little bit hard when you do uneven intervals step back, but I know I don't want a flat wall. We also need to figure out how the heck we're doing a wall up this. I mean, is this wall just going to be here and literally have a 20-block drop? Nah, probably not. We'll have to do like a staircase starting from here, drop down, and then this wall is just going to be super tall, I think. I don't know. We'll see how it works. Eventually, I want to do a gatehouse out the back, but that's a much later thing. Let's hop over to the super flat world. Now, we could do something a little like this, where we have some massive pillars on the side, or we can do something a little bit more small here, where we can do some small details, make this into a little arch. We'll use stairs and slabs and stuff, fence posts, obviously we're going to add in detail. But with a design like this, I think the main problem comes if I want to step this back one, right? We're not going to add another pillar here. Instead, we're going to go back, and that's a 2 tall. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you would have another pillar going up right there. And then we step this back, and that leaves a gap. Now, I guess if we have a gap like this, we could just extend that pillar back, would be the easiest solution to make that connect. So simple design might work, but I think if you step this back by 1, because it's already so big in comparison to everything else, it won't look as weird. I'm going to go ahead and extend both walls back by 1 block and then back on a diagonal and connect them to a straight again and kind of see which one I like better here. Okay, so it's been a little bit, but I have 2 decorated designs for the most part. We have our more simple pillar, step back, and then I push these blocks back in the center a whole nother block just to add some depth in. We can do a bunch of different front designs if we want. We have our little arrow shooting spots up top, and that is just achieved by having a wall block connected to 2 blocks, but nothing underneath it. And then we added in some lamp posts. I don't know if I like the copper, but it's the color I chose to do this for. And then we have some reinforcements for our pillars. I do actually quite like this one. And it's simple. It's a much easier design for me to copy and build in comparison to this taller guy. But we have some massive pillars. We obviously can't put our shelves and trapdoors 2 on the same block. I couldn't figure out a good way to do that, so I just left the front one exposed if you're looking from the side. And I transitioned from dark oak to spruce, as it's going to be darker if you're up there underneath the wall. We have a much larger wall, so we could do a bunch of different designs here. Again, with the amber and shroom lights here, I decided to go ahead and replicate it just upside down. And then we have our diagonal, which diagonals are a pain to figure out, by the way. And both of these seem like something that I'm able to make work. You do have some sacrifices, if you guys can spot them, where the diagonal or the step back just doesn't match up as good as if it was a flat wall. But I think this is about the best that I am able to accomplish right now. I don't know if this is the block palette I want to use. I do like all these blocks, and I'm not sure if they go together quite yet. But this guy is in the flat spots at least, a 7 block in between with a 3 block pillar on each side. The diagonal is a little bit bigger. And this is a 5, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, a 5 with a 1 block pillar on each side. I want some comments if anyone is watching and kind of see which wall they like better between these 2 breakup and designs. I'm not going to build any walls in the world today, but these are kind of what I'm thinking of. And then obviously it gets flipped over to the other side, so this ends up being like another 1, 2, probably about there is where the wall would end up being. It's a quite thick wall, and obviously in spots in my world, like I was talking about on the hillside, is going to be a lot taller, which means we'll probably just stretch this middle section out a lot. Maybe we'll do, instead of a 1 step up from the bottom here, maybe there'll be a, let's grab the right blocks. For that taller section, maybe it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting at the bottom, 1, 2, 3. And then at the last bit, we'll have our normal kind of, this will be the cap and this will be the whole bottom. I don't know. We gotta figure it out. While my design on my walls definitely is not settled yet, I need to do a lot more experiment. I do know I want to use resin as a accent block. I think it'll be just something cool to throw in. I don't have a resin farm though, so I want to do some testing over here in the super flat world, a little bit away from my walls so they don't interfere, and just try and build something that resembles what maybe a resin farm is. Just from some quick research, I know that the creakings can't spawn outside of 8 or a 16 block square away from the hearts. So we're kind of just going to do a one chunk test, and I don't really want my building that they're in to be bigger than 16 unless I do like an open wall outside gazebo type build, maybe. But I want to do some testing on if I can get them to spawn exactly where I want them to, and then if I'm able to do that, translate that into a house to cover it up, or maybe like I just said, an outside gazebo type thing. So I thought a really cool way to put it up in the air would be a hot air balloon. Now, hot air balloon is not a shape I think I can make in Minecraft, at least not in a very short amount of time. So Naruto084 here from Planet Minecraft has a Lightmatica of one. I'm going to download it, see how big this actually is. Maybe we can make the Kraken spawn up above, and then they automatically drop through a water funnel or something right down to where I can smack them. And then we'll have something that sends a signal back up to push the pistons, make the resins fall. I don't know. It could be something that really could be cool or unique. Let's go ahead, hop back in, and kind of play around with this idea for a little bit. So I just ran a little test here with some Kraken hearts on where they can spawn. And I had one spawn on the leaf, a couple on the glass, and a couple on the no blocks. But they can pretty much spawn on transparent blocks, it looks like, but not half slabs. I don't know if that includes soul sand and mud blocks, other non-full blocks, but they can definitely spawn on all of our normal transparent blocks that we use for mob spawning. So when I go up to our blimp here, I'm going to have to, I've already started changing the top of this and make everything be a half slab. They might even be able to spawn where the fence posts are. I'm not 100% certain on that yet. So we're definitely going to have to redesign this blimp a little bit. Maybe entirely change out the blocks, make all the whites quartz instead of just the tops. Not sure on that yet. But the idea here is that we are able to get up to this platform somehow, happy gassed or elytra, whatever it be, right? And then I want the Krekens to kind of fall down into an area right here. So I built just like a little waterway, and they didn't want to spawn in the water for me. But if I had a block here or there, they would spawn, and I could be here, and they would fall down for me. My idea is kind of just a line of Kraken hearts, and then we have wood above and below it, and then we have all the redstone that makes the blocks get pushed out with the piston, breaking the resin, dropping it down into a nice little water stream maybe. That's the idea. We do have a decent amount of space on the inside of this hot air balloon. Something I definitely want to do before I bring it into survival is just limit all of the filler blocks. Like if this isn't an exterior block, I don't want it. So I'll go around doing that, and then we'll get to the actual designing of taking other people's designs, smashing them together to make this function. So I have a farm here by Rayworks. I just downloaded his schematic world kind of to be able to fly around and look at it. And I think this is roughly the design I'm going to go with, except my space that I have only allows me to have 1 wood, 1 heart, and 2 wood. So basically this whole second row on each side is cut out, and then everything else has moved forward. I almost have it done. I have the clock down. I have the automated crafter down, but the floor shifting back and forth is not working. My doors to let water down, perfect. The floor shifting, it'll work like once or twice, but not after that. I don't know what redstone I'm missing. I need to fly around a bit more, but I've simply been hopping back and forth between the two worlds like this and kind of hovering over. Now one sad thing is I could have made this like 2 blocks shorter, and maybe I should have, but I didn't. So we now need to alter the outside of the balloon slightly right here so it can encompass my redstone that's sticking out. I don't know if I'm going to do the same on all 4 sides or just make it unsymmetrical and see if people can even tell the difference. Well, I'm going to dig around in my redstone and try and figure out what I missed. Hopefully I can get this up and running, and then we can go get the materials to actually put it in our world. Okay, I think I finally figured it out. It was a note block and then 1/2 slab missing to carry up the redstone line. If we go over here, Oop, almost fell. I didn't have the note block right here at the end of the water. I don't know why that's important. And then I didn't have this half slab to connect this circuit from here to there to there. But now that our floor is shifting, we still need to spawn proof the rest of this and figure out the higher balloon. I do want to just do a little time set night and then turn off a peaceful. They might not all spawn where they're supposed to. Yeah. Most of them, in fact, didn't. But if I go like here and I do peaceful mode, back in, we're going to change into survival. Boom. And then go into easy. Now, even if they spawn somewhere weird, they can walk to me. They should. I'm just going to look away. Hopefully get all of them in here. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. We're going to do dash. Creative mode. Most of them got in there. Some of them didn't. I just want to make sure this works before I spawn proof everything and build it. So if I go here, I should have a sort in my inventory. Beautiful. And then back into survival. Now, I don't know if I made this in the right spot, but I think I did. That should hit all of them that come in here. And then I want to say there was like 2 stacks of ember blocks down in my chest. Now obviously I'm hitting way sooner than their 5 seconds to spawn it, but we can see the ember flowing on in. Nice. Okay, let's do just a little bit. And we can go back into peaceful. Back into survive or creative. Now, we had a lot of spillage from somewhere. Oh, can they spawn on the bottom? If they can spawn on the bottom, then I have to put half slabs across the entire bottom as well. That might be a thing. But otherwise, I would say this worked really well. I don't know what to do here. If I have stair blocks with water here, it messes with the current behind it, it seems. I haven't found a good way for it not to. And it's fine initially, but the second that the blocks come in, then this current takes over. And I don't understand it, but it doesn't work. Let's go ahead, spawn proof everything, put half slabs down again, and see if we have the same spillage problem everywhere. We might just have a little bit of loss here at our ends because of our space limitation. I've been playing around with the hot air balloon for a while. I made my farm a little bit smaller. Just so, oops, let's get, they're in the way. Okay, I forgot to cover up everything. So not everything is spawn proofed quite as I meant it to be. I plan on placing water here because not all of the resin stays in here. When the floor shifts, some falls out to the side. And then I just have a lot of hoppers to solve my problems instead of dealing with complicated water streams. But we made the farm a little bit smaller so it fits inside the hot air balloon. I don't have to mess with the design. I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with how this has turned out. And when we hop down here, all of these guys won't be here because the water will prevent them, hopefully, from spawning. Otherwise, I have a lot of other problems to figure out. But we'll come down there, we'll smack them, and then from there, all the resin's produced. We have our switches to turn it on and off. A nice little ladder to get me up here. Then I'll have another ladder here, and we'll do some sort of ladder up. Now I'm kind of thinking for now to get up into this hot air balloon, maybe we have, do we have spruce trapdoors? Maybe we do spruce trapdoors. Which way do I need this to face? let's see if I can get underneath here. So if we do spruce trapdoors kind of like this, however high up we decide to make it, and then we can have a ladder that goes down there, I think that will be our best bet to get up to our hot air balloon the easiest. Now this is a lot of blocks. Now I did spawn for the roof, and I am glad that nothing ended up spawning on the roof, so that's awesome. This is a lot of blocks to collect. I am going to be later than I want it to be. I simply just don't have the wool. The wood is easy enough to gather. I also don't have all the resin that I need to build for the inside of this farm, so I might actually have to build a smaller resin farm just to be able to build up this guy. I'm not quite sure. Either that or I'll have to use some temporary blocks. But let's go ahead and put this into our world where we want it to be, and we can get started on building it. Super excited for this. Now I think I found the perfect place for the hot air balloon. Sadly, we're not going to get to build it today. The material list is not insane, but I don't have a good wool farm or any way to get that much wool quickly. The pale oak isn't a problem. The dark oak isn't that bad. The deep slate isn't that bad. I don't have that much resin. I'm going to have to build a smaller resin farm in order to build my resin farm, ironically. The quartz slabs, we might have enough left over. The hoppers, we definitely have enough for that. The pale oak logs, I don't think we have. The orange stained glass, I'm going to have to find orange dye from something. And as we go down, the list gets not too bad. I haven't done anything with bamboo yet, so I'll have to do that. And I don't know if I actually have enough redstone for all the redstone. So we'll have to find out. I need some more mangrove, and yeah, I think that's about it. Weathered copper bulb. So I plan on putting it up top on the mountain here though. My reasoning for this is I want there to be a guard post or a training center for the guards up on top of this mountain, and I want them to have a happy gassed flying squad. Oop, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up top, and that iron golem stopping my iron farm from working. Okay, let me hop up top. Finally made it. I have chests laid down up top here to put all the items I need to gather in and kind of sort them out. And then we are 10 blocks off of the ground, and then we have a good bit before we reach the 16, which I think is about that block of the balloon, or the 8 blocks down from where the creek can spawn. So we have a good amount of room to put buildings down here and build up walls and stuff without having to worry about spawn proofing them from creekins. And then this is going to be like a flight field area, I think, here. I don't quite know how I'm going to pull it off, but we're going to base it around the hot air balloon entering the flight field, and we'll go from there. I'm super excited to get working on this massive hot air balloon. I've never made one before. And also to get started slowly building up the walls and then defining where the heck the wall is going to end up be on this side. Because somewhere before it starts going down the mountain. And we'll probably curve it in towards that village. Or maybe we'll engulf that other little island that's over there. Not sure yet. And then once we finish some of our side projects, we can start designing our massive central building, which is either going to be an octagon or a hexagon, kind of right here in the middle of that canalway, as the main defense and thing that makes this port a port where people can't just go through the canal for free. They have to stop in this trade town and pay taxes and everything else. So we'll get collecting on materials next episode. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to do weekly posts or bi-weekly posts from now on. And we're coming back a little bit on the overtime in order to do that. Have a wonderful day, and make it a great one.